Well, welcome back. You know, over the holiday season, there were a lot of proposals made, lots of rings given out, and it's easy to get caught up in the excitement. If you've recently gotten engaged, there are a few things you should know about your partner before you walk down the aisle. Joining me now is George James with the Council for Relationships. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Now, this is, a lot of people do get engaged over the holidays,
Right.
but you say there are some things you should do. Don't just say, yes, yay, forward.
Right.
No, you need to make sure that you know yourself first.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of things to understand. So the number one thing is understand yourself, because we think that we should just know our partner, but sometimes we don't really even know ourselves. What are the things that make us happy, sad? What are the things that we enjoy? And sometimes we're just not at that level of maturity yet. And to really take that evaluation to see, do you really understand yourself?
Interesting. I know, because a lot of people think, well, once I get married, then I'll be happy.
Right.
Or once I marry this person, you know, everything's going to, my world is going to start, you know, popping up roses and all that kind of thing. It's not that way.
No, not at all. Because if you don't understand yourself, once you get married, now many things are going to happen. And then if you understand yourself, then you can make the adjustments. But if you're still discovering yourself, now you can get lost and feel that maybe you made a mistake.
So have a good sense of self. Even though we learn ourselves throughout our lives, have a good sense. Also, discuss your expectations and differences. What are we talking about there?
Well, a lot of times couples get into trouble at that point, where if we don't talk about what are we thinking about marriage would look like, what are expectations in terms of, well, how many kids do we want? Sometimes couples don't talk about that, and so one person doesn't want to have kids and the other wants to have kids. That could be a deal breaker.
Okay.
You know, so if you don't talk about what marriage would look like, what are your overall expectations, as well as differences, you can end up in trouble.
Okay, so we're talking about lifestyle, like do you like to go out all the time, whereas I like to stay at home?
Right.
Are we going to take a vacation once a year? Are these the things that
those things, as well as really major things? How will we raise our children? Do we want to have faith as part of our lifestyle? Are there differences in terms of what will we do around the holidays? These things are major things that if we don't talk about it, when they happen, can be big issues.
Okay, you say plan the marriage, not just the wedding. That's kind of similar, right?
Right. So you want to invest in the marriage. So the roles, expectations, rules, all those things that you want to talk about. But also, like you're putting money into the wedding, put money into maybe taking a class together or doing things that will enrich your relationship.
I like that. You also say be willing to stay connected even when it's tough. So you're saying when you have an argument, you still got to stay connected?
It's almost a guarantee that you're going to have tough times, right? And it's hard to say that, but so to understand that when you have those tough times, to still stay connected. Because if you're unwilling to stay connected during the hard times, that's a sign. That's saying that maybe you're not willing to go the long haul.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, you also say seek wisdom from those people who can help. Those people that you know who have been married, who have or counselors.
Right, because sometimes couples will say they don't have any examples of a good relationship. Well, find a good example. Go to dinner with them. Find out what made their relationship work.
See if you can reach Bill Cosby?
Well, maybe. You never know, but you might get his uncle or somebody. And then, or go to someone who can provide counseling, like either someone in the faith community or a therapist.
Now, if you realize that maybe you're lacking in some of these areas, or maybe you're not as familiar with yourself as you feel like you want to be, or if you feel like you've had some problems, can you still connect? I mean, is it still okay to say, let's get engaged, but at least then you have the information?
Right. So the difference could be instead of having maybe a 6-month engagement, maybe a year engagement, or instead of a year and a half. You know, so being able to give yourself the time that maybe during the engagement you work on some of these things, so that way you can now really make the decision to go forward.
Okay. Fabulous advice from George James from the Council for Relationships.
Thank you.